Thank you for your interest in the Early Learning GPS. What we're going to do today is a short demonstration of the features of the GPS, and afterwards I encourage you to go to the website and create your own family account and start creating child maps and test it out for yourself. If you are not familiar with the old version of the Early Learning GPS, this was launched in April of 2015 thanks to the Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge grant, and we have definitely increased the value of the tool. We've added a lot of new features. We also did a lot of focus group with families to see what they liked or didn't like about the original GPS. That was our low-cost, no-cost version. This is much closer to the original vision. So one of the things that I want to point out is that we have a new URL. It is www.earlylearninggps.com. Now you can still access the GPS from Pennsylvania's Promise for Children, and this will actually take you right back to the PA's Promise for Children website. Each of these sections will take you back to different parts of the website as well. So we wanted to keep a nice connection between the two websites so you have access to all the information that you might want. And as you can see, they open up in different tabs. The first thing I would recommend before you access the GPS is if you have Google Chrome or later editions of Internet Explorer or Firefox, to use those to access the GPS. Google Chrome works great. If you use an early version of Internet Explorer, it will not work as well. What we're going to do is get started in some of the features. So here we have a welcome video. It's a minute and a half. It explains to families what they can do, what the benefits are of registering for the tool. So here you have the registration section. It is always free, and you can enter your first name, last name, email, create your own password, and then your city. We are asking families to give us their county, and there's a couple reasons for that. There's the ability to search for local resources within the GPS, and those will be filtered by the home county. So once they give us their county, they get a better experience through the GPS. The other thing is that on the other end of the statistics and measurements on the back end, this way we can see where we're getting the most coverage of families based on how many are from certain counties. At this point, they can also sign up for our action alerts. So this gives you information on what's happening in terms of policies in early childhood and anything happening with the legislature or the budget. Kindergarten Here I Come, that is activities for children that are ages 3 and 4. That is a monthly e-newsletter. And then Learning is Everywhere has activities for children from birth to age 5, and it's also a monthly newsletter. So this is where people can sign up. If they want to just do the quiz, which is the 10 questions, they can continue as a guest. They will not be able to save resources, save tips. They will not be able to follow their child's milestones, access activities based on the early learning standards, or compare child care programs. So you do not get as much of a robust experience if you do not register. So again, I do encourage you all to register. It's okay if you create a fake family account and a fake child map. If this is helpful for you to learn how to use the GPS and show it to families, we're okay with that. So I already have an account. I will log in. When you first log in, if you've just created an account, what will happen is this button will pop up and ask you to add a child's map. So one thing we would recommend to families, if you have a mom and a grandma and they're all interested in the same child, to create one family account and then one child map and share their email and password with each other so they can log in at different times. That way, if one family member sees something really interesting that they want to share with the other, they can actually leave a note for the family member inside the GPS or save that tip to the GPS, and then the other family member can come and see it. So here we ask for the first name of the child. We also ask for the child's birth date. And the reason that we do that is because there are 3 different quizzes in here. There's an infant quiz, a toddler, and a preschooler. And the content is related, connected to some of the child development milestones. So you want to have the right quizzes for the age of the child. If the parent, this is all encrypted and confidential information, but if the parent or grandparent does not want to put the actual birth date in, they can put in the first day of the month, and that way they'll still have the accurate quizzes. So you can have actually put in any date in the future. You could put in your due date, and then when the child is born, you've already gone through some of this information. Now we have a release coming out in the fall, and in that release, you'll actually be able to go in and change the birth date if you wanted to. So if they were due sometime between April and November, they can put in the due date, and then after November they can go in and actually put the birth date in if they want to. You can make as many child maps as you'd like, and they will just populate here, and again they will follow the child until they're about 6 years old. So you can enter a child up to 6 years old. If you try to enter in like a 12-year-old, it won't allow you to do that, and you can enter a child in the future of any time. So the first item we're going to look at is some of these items on the map. So this is your child's map, and if I switch, you'll see that my welcome message changes, and we will be upgrading this to give tips here as well. Right now it's just a standard welcome message. And I have a way to access the quiz. I can actually upload photos, so I can use this as a scrapbook, electronic scrapbook. I can add to-dos, so I can either make up my own to-dos, and I've saved some here already, or I can add some of these suggested to-dos. Add it to my map, and then I can change the status of them between open or completed. If I don't want them there anymore, I can remove them, and then I can edit them if I want to as well. We will come back to the saved tips and the saved resources. Another great field that you can use throughout the GPS is the notes field. So you can add any sort of free form note here, and you will be able to you'll be able to leave notes throughout the quiz that you can come back to later. And if you can edit them, and you can also remove them. So let's go into the quiz, and I'm going to show you one of the questions and how this works. If you've never been in here before, you would start at the very beginning. Because I was already in the quiz, it's asking me if I want to continue where I left off or start over. And we have 4 different sections that you can access: your child's brain, your child's development, you and your child, and when your child's not with you. Now, if you go to the PA's Promise website, and I will show you where you can do that, you can actually find a tip sheet on using the Early Learning GPS with families. That gives you a listing of all the questions. So if you want to see the questions ahead of time and direct yourself to a particular area, you can do that. I'm going to show you a question in your child's development. Now each of these is narrated, so you can turn the volume off if you don't want to hear the narration. And each of these sections has a splash page that explains why development is so important, or that area is so important. Here's where you can always add a note. So if this is something that I wanted, Grandma to look at question 3, I can leave her a note, and the next time she comes in, she can see my note. I can also update notes from in here. So each question has up to 4 answers. The answers are not right or wrong answers. They're answers based on the situation of the family. So some of these answers are a little bit good, better, best practice, but none of them are completely wrong. And we don't want families to feel like they're being judged. And actually, that's one thing that came out in the focus groups, that families actually felt like it made them feel better about what they're doing because they already knew they were doing some of the things that they were supposed to do. So here we're asking, when my baby turns 1 year old, I would expect him to, and we're trying to get families to think about the fact that there are milestones and what do they think, do they really understand where the milestones are. So we're going to choose C, say about 10 words, and use words to tell me what he wants. And now it has flipped me over to the answer. So what's different in this GPS is that instead of having just the text tip, which we do have, so you can have the text answer, we also have a video. So you can watch the video, and what it does is it gives you, it's all narrated, and then it gives you bulleted tips at the end of the narration. Almost all of these tips are under 2 minutes long. A couple are just a little bit over 2 minutes, and that was something that families were really interested in, is to keep these short. But they also have nice images, so if your baby was on your lap, there's something for the baby to watch. And here's where you'll always find on all of these the quick tip and then the highlights of the different items. So if I like this tip, I can save it easily to my map. And one thing to notice is that if you're in Google Chrome, you will get a notification that you saved to your map. You have to click OK before it will go away, and you can keep moving. If I liked this particular tip or I did not like it, I can give feedback. So we encourage you, please give us feedback, especially if you like or don't like something. And you'll notice that you can also leave a comment. That will really help us to improve the tool. So we've gotten our tip based on our answer. And now I have access to all of these different resources. So one of the big resources on child development is the Watch Me Grow checklist. Now I can click on this and go right to that page, or I can save it to my map and then take a look at it later. You'll see I've saved several items to my map. One thing parents brought up in the focus groups a lot was, what are the signs of autism? So we put that link in here, and I can also save that to my map. So this is how each of the questions work. You answer a question, you get the video tip, and then you have access to resources, and you can save the tip and the resources to your map. So let's take a look at our map. So I'm still on my infant map. I've saved some tips. I made a note, so I can come back and look at my note. This is the note that I put in. Grandma, look at question 3. I can come back and look at my tips. So this is the tip that I saved. I can view the text, or I can watch the video. Now I can do this as many times as I want. Typically, a child can say about 10 words and use. I can leave it on there as long as I want. Now as your child gets older, if you started this before the child was born and you keep it until 5 years old, there's going to be a lot of tips here. So what you may want to do is remove them as the child gets older. But you have the ability to take them off, put them back on as much as you want. And then we have the resources that we've saved. So I still have the access to the link, a brief description of what the resource is. If this link changes, we will change it on the back end of it. It will always be updated throughout the system. So these links should always be updated. But this way you don't have to bookmark to your browse or anything like that. And then if you decide you're done with that resource, you can get rid of it. The other feature here, so we have the saved resources, which are content based on the questions that you've answered, but we also have local resources. So you can search for local resources. Now when I created my family account, I'm from Dauphin County, so it will filter resources from either statewide resources or resources from Dauphin County. So if I wanted health resources, and these resources were provided to us through our local education and resource network teams and through our Community Innovation Zone grants, and we will continue to be updating these resources as we get more information. So if there's a phone number, the phone number is included. If there's a link, the link is included, and we will do our best to keep these updated as well. Now, if I wanted to search for resources in another county. So I live in Dauphin, but maybe I need to go to Cumberland County. I can put in a different county. Now what this will show me is all statewide resources and all Cumberland County resources. So you can't search by keyword. Now in the fall release, you will actually be able to save these local resources to your map as well. So that'll save people some time. And these are all either Cumberland County or statewide resources. So these are the basics about this part of the map. Now I'm just going to quickly show you these three tabs. When you go through the quiz, what you learn is that children learn from birth or before birth. You learn that children follow certain developmental milestones and that you should focus on your own child's abilities to help them meet those milestones. You learn that there are things you can do every day in your normal daily life that help your child learn and grow. And then you learn that it's important that your child has access, if you're going to a child care program or an early learning program, that it is a quality program and that you can ask questions about that and learn more about that. So these milestones help you use the information you learn in the quiz a little bit better. The milestones tab, and sometimes it takes a little while for it to open up, the milestone tab is based on the Watch Me Grow checklist that was put together by Pennsylvania Early Intervention Services. You have milestones from birth to 5 years old. And the reason that we did that is because we do tell people children will sprint ahead on one skill, be behind on another. So if your child hasn't met every milestone at 3 months, that's okay. They may be behind a little bit, they might be ahead a little bit. This way you have the full continuum of milestones to look at. Now we also take you back to our website to get more information on child development. But if you hit the button, the arrow button, it will show you the things that typically a child will do at birth to 3 months. And if your child can do 2 or more things, then they've met that milestone. Now here you can put any kind of comment that you want, when it happened, or if you have a question for the doctor or something like that, and then save those milestones. So these milestones will follow the child through 5 years old, and you can come back and continue to update the milestones. The question parents often have is, well, how can I share this with my doctor or my child's teacher? There's a couple ways you can do that. They can open this up on their iPad or on their computer and allow the teacher or the doctor to look at it here, or they can hit the print button and you can actually print all of this out. The next tab is the Activities tab. So what is on here now is activities from our Learning is Everywhere calendar. So these are for activities for children from birth to 5 years. And what we've done is organize them by the skill level that they primarily would focus on and the age of the child. So here we have creativity with infants, sometimes also called approaches to learning, and a little activity that you can do with your baby. You can also tell us if it was helpful or not. So there's creativity, health and wellness, language and reading, math, science, social skills, and social studies. Now in the fall release, the October-November release, we're actually going to put in a database with more activities where you'll be able to search by the age of your child, the skill that you're interested in, and then if it's an activity you would do at home or out and about. And you can save the ones that you like the best to your map. So here you have a selection of activities. In the fall, you'll actually be able to save them to your map. And then the third tab is the program checklist. So in the GPS quiz, we give them some questions to ask when you visit a program. We recommend that families visit at least 2 programs. If they can, bring their child with them. And then there's a series of questions that they can ask. So here, we offer families a way to actually put those answers together and compare programs. So you can put in the name of the program. Now this is not connected to any kind of other database. It's not connected to the Compass Child Care Search. It is just free form right now. So they can put in the name of the program. And then as you see, I have a number of programs here. Then I can start answering the questions. And these are questions that we put in the GPS quiz. So is the program convenient? and then they can enter any comment they want. Does it meet regulations? We tell them how to find out if they meet regulations. Are they free from violations? Is it clean? Does it participate in Keystone Stars? Then there's questions about the teacher, the education and experience level of the teacher. If you're comfortable with the teacher, do they have low turnover? And then does your child have access to a variety of activities that are developmentally appropriate? Now, how do they know what that means? They can read the glossary, and we define what developmentally appropriate is. And then do they get free play? So you enter in the answers to that, and then you can save it. Now again, if you want to look at all of these side by side, you can print out your map. And what this will show you is all the answers, the questions that you've answered, what your answer was, the tips and resources you've saved, and then the milestones and the program checklist. So it's everything that you've put to your map, you can just print out. So there are the milestones, and then here are the program checklists. So one of the questions we've had from people is, what do you want us to do with this information? And if you go to the Pennsylvania's Promise for Children website, and you go to Help Your Child Grow, an Early Learning GPS, we have a lot of tools here to help you share the GPS with others. We will be adding more information on live webinars, and then if you want other training to do a demonstration. And we have Help Spread the Word. So because this is an online tool, one of the easiest and best things you could do is actually add a link and the logo to your website. We've put on here a brief description of the program, of the tool, so you don't even have to make that up. We have a welcome video if you want to embed that to your website. The logo is available here. Some banner ads are available here. Social media is also a great way to do this. So we have some sample Facebook and Twitter posts. You don't have to count the characters. We've already done that. Some people are posting these weekly to get information out to their networks. We also have articles. So we have an article that's designed for families and an article designed for organizations working with families. The other thing that's really helpful are these Early Learning GPS promotional kits. They are free. Shipping is free. Everything's free. And they include 100 bookmarks that look like this, except bigger than that, 10 table tents that look like this, but bigger, and then 5 posters. And they have the tip sheet on how to use the GPS with families. You can order as many kits as you can use. That is all free, thanks to Race to the Top. And it's a great way to get, if you have to put them in doctor's offices, you can put them in restaurants, you can put them in any kind of office working with families. And it's a lot of great stuff that you can just display and make available to families. So I hope you've liked this tour. Please take time now to come in and take a look at the GPS yourself, create your own account, take a look at the tip sheets, order your promotional kits. And if you have any other questions or need more information, please contact us. Thank you very much.